Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So today we're going to be looking at section 3.4, which is how to determine the equation of a line. It all depends on what information you're being given will tell us how much work we need to do, but ultimately there are two things. For every question of this type, there are two things we need to do. We need to figure out the slope, and we need to figure out the y-intercept, m and b. Those are the two numbers that we need. Over the past few days, we've looked at a number of techniques on how to get those two numbers. And so what we'll do is we'll go through a number of examples to see how we can achieve those goals. So let's start with this. What are the methods of getting a slope? Well, first off, if we have the graph, back from grade 9, we had our old formula, slope is rise over run. So if we have a graph like this, all we need to do is say, okay, draw our triangle, what is our rise or what is our run, and there's our slope. Or if I give you a series of points or a graph, the other way we could do this is using the new version of the formula, which is delta y over delta x. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Either technique will work. So if we need the slope, that's what we're going to do. What about the y-intercept? Well, again, if you have the graph, it's super easy because all we need to do is say, okay, well, where does my graph cross through the y-axis? So, this might be at -3, so there's my b value, there's my y-intercept. If I don't have a graph, that's when it becomes a little bit harder. So I'm going to have to do some algebra. I'm going to have my slope, I'm going to have to grab a point, and I'm going to sub it all in and algebraically solve for b. That's probably the toughest part to do, and so we'll go through a number of examples on how we can do that, and we'll slowly ramp up the difficulty as we go. Let's start with some where we have a graph, because those tend to be the most obvious. So, looking at this, like I said, the first thing we're going to want to do is to figure out our slope. So to figure out our slope, we can choose any 2 points we want. Make your life easy. Make sure it's something that's passing through some crosshairs so you can read the point properly. Like I wouldn't want to choose, say, this point, right? That's very difficult to read, kind of right in here. It's a partial, at 0.5 or something like that. So choose something that makes sense. So I'm going to choose, let's say, this point right here, and I will choose this point right here. So that point, the first one is at 2, 0, and the second one is at 0, -3. So I can either do my triangle and do rise over run, or I can use my slope formula, which is delta y over delta x. So I'll call this one 0.1, this one 0.2. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we have -3 over -2, which is, I'm running out of room here, I'll bring this up here. So that's going to be equal to 3 over 2. So that's my slope. My y-intercept is, I can read right off, we can see the y-intercept is -3, so that's my b value. So b value is -3. So putting this all together then, I know my line is y equals mx plus b. So let's plug in our numbers. Y equals 3 over 2x minus 3. And there's the equation of the line. Let's try another one. All right, so for this one, we can see, let's go with, I'm going to choose this point right here. That point is -2, 7. And I'll choose this point down here, which is the point 3, 2. So our slope, again, you can do the triangle. I'm using our new slope formula just so we get practice with it, but either way, it's fine. So I'll call this one 0.2, and this one will be 0.1. So my slope is 7 minus 2 over -2 minus 3. So 7 minus 2 is 5. -2 minus 3 is -5. So we can see our slope is -1. My b value is right here. Oh, I'll do that different color. There we go. You can see the b value is 5. So therefore, my equation of the line is y equals -1x plus 5. Now, I don't like seeing -1 in there. That would be a presentation error, so I'll get rid of that 1, and we'll just say -x plus 5. Just that easy. So when you have a graph, y-intercept, we can just read right off it, makes it really easy, and for the slope, using either of our techniques, rise over run, or our new formula, delta y over delta x. Now, what if I don't give you a graph? Okay. Again, the point behind this, we know graphing is annoying, so now we're going to get away from graphing. We could graph this line if we wanted to, given the information, but that takes time to set it all up. So let's see what we can do with the information that we're given. Again, our goal here is we know the equation is y equals mx plus b. I need my b value, I need my m value. Well, for this first one, they gave us the slope. Easy enough. So I know right off the bat y equals 2x plus b. So the only thing I don't know is that b value. That's why we're given this point. So we have the point 310. So what I can do with that is just sub that in to my equation. Remember, a point is always written xy. So my y value is 10. My x value is 3. So that's what I have. So my x is 3, my y is 10, and now I can solve. So 10 is equal to 6 plus b. So 6 plus what is going to give us 10? I'll subtract 6 off both sides. And I get b is equal to 4. So if I know b is equal to 4, I know my m already. There's my equation of the line. So therefore, y equals 2x plus 4. Make sure you give me a conclusion. So often people do all this work and then forget to actually answer the question, which is find the equation of the line. All right, let's try another one. So for part B here, we can see m is -4, g is the point -3, 17. So I know my equation of the line is y equals mx plus b. I know my slope is -4. And I have that point, xy, so I can plug that in. 17 is equal to -4 times -3 plus b. So that's 17 is equal to -4 times -3 is 12 plus b. Go up here so I have more room. So 17 minus 12 is going to be my b value, which is 5. So I have my b, I was given my m, therefore y equals -4x plus 5. Last one. Get some extra room here. So m is 1/2, and we have the point 8, -4. Y equals mx plus b. I have my m, I have my x, I have my y. So I'm going to plug all that in. So -4 is equal to 8 times 1/2 plus b. So -4 is equal to 8 times 1/2 is 4 plus b. I will subtract 4 off both sides, and I get my b value is -8. I was given my slope, so therefore y equals 1/2 x minus 8. Okay, so if you're given a slope and a point, that's how we're going to solve. We're going to plug in the point and solve for our b. Now, what about a scenario like this, where I don't give you either the slope or the y-intercept? I'm only giving you 2 points. Well, like I mentioned, the first thing we want is the slope. Well, if I gave you 2 points, we can find the slope by using our slope formula. So m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Again, it doesn't matter what you call point 1 and 2. I'll call this one point 1. So this is x1, y1. And this will be point 2 over here. So this is x2, put that 2 on the bottom, x2 and y2. So let's plug in those numbers. So y2 is negative 1 minus y1, which is negative 9. Watch all your double negatives. So negative 1 minus negative 9. And then x2 is negative 1 minus 3. So negative 1 minus negative 9, that's the same thing as negative 1 plus 9, so that's 8, over negative 1 minus 3 is going to be negative 4. So 8 over negative 4, we get a slope of negative 2. Now that we have our slope, now it's exactly the same like the previous question. I have my slope and I have a point. In fact, I have 2 points. So I know y equals negative 2x plus b. I just need to figure out what that b value is. In order to do that, I can plug in either point. It doesn't matter which one. Okay, I'm going to choose point R here because the numbers seem a little bit smaller, makes my math easy. But it'll work if you choose point A as well. So my x and my y are both negative 1. So negative 1 is equal to negative 2 times negative 1 plus b. So negative 1 is equal to 2 plus b. I will subtract 2 off both sides, and I get a b value of negative 3. So again, don't forget about our conclusion. Therefore, y equals negative 2x minus 3. Let's try one more here. So here's our 2 points, 8, 0, and negative 4, 6. Same idea. First thing we want to go after is the slope. Delta y over delta x. Again, doesn't matter what you call point 1 and point 2. I'll call this point 2, this one point 1. So it's going to be 6 minus 0 over negative 4 minus 8. So that's going to be 6 over negative 12, which I can reduce down to negative 1/2. There's my slope. Y equals mx plus b. So I have my slope of negative 1/2. Now I plug in any point I want. I'll choose this point. I like a 0, makes my life easy. So the y value is 0. My x value is 8 plus b. I could have chosen point z. It doesn't matter. We get the same number. So 0 equals negative 1/2 times 8. That's negative 4 plus b. So that means b is equal to 4. So therefore, y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4. Now, I'm just going to make the point here. What if I had chosen, instead of point y, what if I had chosen point z for that second part? Let's try that. Okay, you don't need to do this. I just want to make my point that it doesn't matter which point you choose. So instead of plugging in 0, 8, I'm going to plug in y is 6 and x is negative 4 times my slope, which is negative 1/2 plus b. So 6 is equal to negative 4 times negative 1/2. So that's going to be positive 2 plus b. Get rid of the 2, so I'm going to subtract it off both sides. 6 minus 2 is 4. And so you can see I get the exact same b value, right? So it doesn't matter which of the 2 points you choose. You can choose either one. You should get the same b value no matter what. And there's our equation of the line. All right, let's do one more here. If you're watching this on video, which obviously you are, go ahead and pause this one and get some paper and try this one on your own before we walk through the solution. Okay, so pause the video now and try this one on your own, please. I'm going to start with the slope. delta y over delta x. Okay, call this point 2 and this point 1. So 5 minus 1 over negative 1 minus 3. So that's 4 over negative 4. So my slope is negative 1. So I know y equals negative 1x plus b. Now I plug in my point. I'm going to choose point J to plug in. So 1 is equal to negative 3 is my x value plus b. So 1 is equal to negative 3 plus b. Add 3 to both sides. I get a b value of 4. So therefore, y is equal to negative x plus 4. So that's where we're going to end this one. Please make sure you try all of these. This is a very important lesson. So page 133 is where you're going to find your homework. For number 2 in the question, it asks you to graph. I don't need you to graph those. Just answer the question without that part. Good luck, and as always, please email me if you have any questions.